Welcome to Session 0 of Season 2. Allow me to set out the setting, if you will. The world is made of many spheres. There are giant gateways that connect them. You could literally walk across light years of space and never leave the ground. The archways that extend up in the sky are bordered by colored sigils. Not so much to create the gateways, but to mark that they're there, because you definitely don't want to fly into them or walk into them, as one of our characters found out the hard way.
Roll for Initiative presents WorldWeave.
Speaking of our characters, you guys want to introduce yourselves and who you're playing? I'll start with CashPanda.
I am Panda, and I am going to be playing Craig Alabaster Wren IV, a Forge Cleric. He is a Dragonborn, Gemstone Dragonborn, Topaz. Has a mace that he wields, as well as a shield, and both metal and the mace itself has a very it's a very kind of ornate thing. It's crafted with love, would be one way to put it. Kind of has like a little, like the top, it has like little jagged things that kind of go out and then back around, so like it creates like a little star kind of thing that goes down and in, but it's hollow kind of. A lot of orange like accents, very but mostly like metallic orange stuff, and then there's kind of a shoulder plate that looks like, if I'm calling correctly, I have to picture up again just so I can remember it specifically. But if I recall, it looks kind of like a dragon's head, kind of. And he wears kind of this chainmail currently, but has been working on some heavier armor in his spare time. And that is it.
Cool. All right. Mr. Chuck, who are you playing?
I am playing Forgotten Link of the Silence Clan, a Tabaxi monk. Pretty muted color palette, lots of brown robes. I do have purple accents on my clothing, and I wield a staff. Most notable trait would be the blue translucent, I believe, left arm that I have. Kind of almost ethereal in nature. And I think that's...
It was your right arm, by the way, I believe is what you told me.
Okay, it is my right arm. I thought so, but then I doubted myself. So,
Okay.
right arm is ethereal and bluish in nature. Yet still tangible.
Yes. And Zero.
I'm Zero, and I am playing Ash Starlight. They're a glamour bard, and I don't have an appearance to describe for you, because my appearance will change entirely based on what I feel is necessary for the moment. I guess I have weapons, but my primary weapon is my voice, followed by my body. Not in the way you think. I'm a dancer, gosh. So, that's me. Although, more than likely you will not know me by the name Ash for a little while, but that's
Right. Well, you three find yourselves in the city of Flamoria, particularly the quarter on Sinis, which is the sphere of rock that sits between the silent and the fire ring.
I'm not going to be able to take notes because I'm holding a baby, so I'm just making that known.
Flamoria, on the richer worlds, would be considered a modest town, but here, near the entropy circle, it's pretty much the most booming of metropolises. From any vantage point in the city, you can look up and you will see the Skyjammer docks, the most notable landmark of Flamoria. Essentially, it's a vertical shipyard, towering spires, the constant hustle and bustle of trade as Skyjammers moor and unmoor and unload their cargo and take up passengers and leave. Outside the protective walls of Sinis, or of Flamoria on Sinis, lies a great plain that descends into a colossal, although gentle valley. And those who walk across this valley must tread carefully, for one false step can lead to a trip and countless lacerations as you land onto the sharp grass. Although the native fauna with their tough skin and hardened limbs can traverse with little effort. As you look out across the horizon, you can see the crimson ring of fire splitting the skies, though here in Flamoria, it's just a thin vertical line. You can't actually see the skies through the ring. Okay, so you guys are probably not all together, so I will start with Mr. Craig Alabaster Wren IV. If you have any questions about where you would like to be, I can tell you your surroundings.
Yeah, where am I exactly at this moment?
So you are from the sphere of Imperios, which is just about was a ring away. So yeah, you would have come to Sinis via the silent spiral. So it was a very short trip for you. And being that this sphere is also part of the fire ring, you can find many things having to do with fire and forging and stuff like that. So there is a great forge in this city, and there is also the Silent King, who is a Leonin. He never speaks, and though he is queenless, his advisors relay his advice and decrees. You may want to visit him, or the forges, or there are plenty of taverns and other sorts of stores. It's a very bustling trade hub.
I will. The Silent King sounds interesting to me. I can go that way, I think.
Okay.
Head that way from wherever I currently am.
All right. So the palace is about a few hundred yards away from where the silent ring, where the sigils of the silent ring meet the ground. So having come through here, you will head south to the palace. It's this giant, glossy white edifice that it's not as tall as the docks, but it still has a fairly imposing presence. And and there will be guards up in front of the castle, so not everybody can just walk in.
Okay. I guess I keep approaching. Try to get in.
And the guards say, one of the guards, he's actually a Leonin. And he says, what business do you have here?
What was his name again? It was the Silent...
He's the Silent King.
Silent King. And he's a good forger. Leonin forger. Is that correct?
He would know things about the forge. He probably doesn't forge himself, but he definitely has smiths in his employ.
I've come to learn, if I may, about the about forging, more about forging from the Silent King. I'll say that in Leonin.
Oh, okay. And the Leonin guy's he's a little taken aback. He, first of all, hasn't seen a whole lot of Dragonborn around, but I mean a few, but not so many. But he's very surprised that you learned to speak Leonin, and his first question is, in Leonin is, oh, you speak the language.
One of my old teachers taught me, so I could learn the craft easier.
Oh. And may I have your name?
I am Craig Alabraster Wren the Fourth.
And so he confers with the other guard, and he says, you can kind of hear bits of whispering. You can't quite make it out. But after about 30 seconds or so of whispering and gesturing, they say, all right, we will take you to the smith.
Thank you. I'm appreciative.
And the front doors of the castle are pretty huge, but there's also like a bit of a smaller door to walk through. And this little person-sized door opens, and the Leonin guard you spoke to beckons you through, and you guys walk into the palace. You come to an antechamber, and straight in front of you is where you can see a tunnel that would leads off into a bright light that, from what your knowledge of castles, would probably lead to the throne room. But instead, he takes you off to the left. And you go back outside into a courtyard. And walking through the courtyard, you pass many buildings, and you finally come to a forge. You can hear the clanging of hammers and the roaring of fire as the bellows are being compressed.
I will. Am I free to use these while I potentially wait for any advice or counsel from him?
The smith actually walks out to greet you. Like you hear the hammering stop. And he's this fairly grizzled looking lion. He's got large muscular arms from hammering. He's a bit gray in the mane. And he looks you up and down and takes a look at your mace and says, they bring you here to see me?
I asked to see you, yes.
You might find it a little strange, but they seem to have almost communicated psychically a little bit. Because how else would he know that you're already here?
I will telepathically communicate. I've recently gone out on my own, and I wish to learn more. I studied under a friend of mine. His name was Jakal, and I wish to know more about forging. You see, I have come under the I guess patronage of the god Jor. So I wish to honor him by learning more as much as I can.
At this, the smith is a little taken aback. He wasn't expecting you to also be able to think at him. Like, And so he just says out loud, "Well, then by all means, come on in. Show me what you've got." And he hands you a raw piece of stock and says, "Make what you like from it." Well, while you're thinking about that, I can cut to either Link or Ash.
Yeah, I'm gonna think about specifically what I want to make for a little bit here.
Okay, so let's just go straight on down to Mr. Chuck
Yes.
and Forgotten Link. All right, so you are Forgotten Link of the Silent Clan,
Yes.
correct? So you are a monk.
Yep.
And your monastery is on the very same planet, the same sphere as the Silent Kings. So you're from here. So it's not too far from Flamoria. It's possible you could have ridden in by boat or some other way, but now you're here, and you are at the entrance of the city.
Okay.
What would you like to do? You can ask me any questions about what's around here. Yada yada.
Yeah, what's the process to get into the city? What does it look like other people are doing to gain access?
I mean, there's no real city guards. There's just kind of it's just kind of like a little outpost, and you'll say you just kind of you kind of just walk in.
Okay. A roughly, massive amount to very quiet. How many people are there surrounding me right now?
Oh, there's quite a few. I mean, it's not. I'm trying to picture like the density of it, but there are houses and buildings that start like immediately at the wall. So there are people milling about.
Okay. Is it like New York City or
think
Minneapolis?
more Minneapolis than New York City.
Okay.
Actually, how many? What's the population of Minneapolis?
2.9 million as of the last census.
Okay, I was thinking. Let me see how many people are in Pittsburgh then. Because I feel like Pittsburgh would be more appropriate because it was a big steel town a long time. Oh, a few years ago.
Pittsburgh's around 300,000.
Yeah, let's say more Pittsburgh. It's a fairly sizable city, but it has a small town feel.
All right. Okay. I'm looking for any library or knowledge center.
Okay. There is.
So I sorry to interject. I think Pittsburgh city itself was 300,000, but the whole metropolitan area is about 1.7 million.
Okay, well that's still pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's about closer to what I want. I mean, I'm because like the larger cities on WorldWeave are closer to what, more like Tokyo.
Yeah.
By comparison. Like, obviously, in the medieval setting, this is more of like the ratio of Pittsburgh to Tokyo rather than like absolute population, but
Yeah.
yes.
It just helps me know how much there is to look at and how quickly I'll move, because Tokyo size, I'm not getting very far.
No.
And there's too much to look at, too much to but
So there is at the entrances to the city, there are because this is a trade hub. There are actual like kiosks that you can ask for information. It's kind of like it's almost like it's not necessarily a destination spot, but enough people go through here that they have a place where you can get questions answered.
Okay. I'm going to go up to one of those.
All right. So, it's a. It almost looks like, you know, like a little thatched bungalow, like you'd find in like a theme park. And at the desk, you know, milling through papers and such, is a little green goblin. And he looks at you and says, "Oh, hello. How can I help you?"
Yeah. Like, yeah, I need directions. You got like a library close by?
Library. And he hits a button, like a little. He puts his hand on the counter in a very specific spot that's shaped like a hand, and up in front of you pops an illusion that it's translucent, it's purple, and it's a map of the town, of the city.
Whoa.
And he pokes at the map towards basically the western half of it, and he says, "Here are you. Here we are." And he pokes somewhere else, and he says, "Look up." And those are the docks. That's the Spelljammer dock. You see it? And that is directly south of you. And then about probably a quarter of the way east on the map, he pokes and says, he draws a line, a little route, and he says, "This is the way to the library." And he smacks his hand back down on the counter, and the illusion falls, and he hands you a piece of paper, and on that paper is the map and the route to the library.
That's cool.
Whoa. Okay. Well, first I've got to do one thing. And I'm going to try the button.
It doesn't work for you.
That's disappointing.
It used to work for other people, the goblin says. But it we had too many people trying it.
Yeah. Well, thank you.
Oh, you're quite welcome. Welcome to Flamoria. Have a wonderful, wonderful stay.
Awesome. Thanks, man. And I'm gonna just start making my way.
Chuck, I love the way your character talks.
I can't do accents, but I can do hipster.
All right, so as you are strolling towards the library, I shall cut to Ash Starlight.
Hello.
So, what has brought you to Flamoria?
Curiosity?
Why, yes, I did.
Literally.
That was a good one.
I'm actually not Ash Starlight right now. My name is Josephina Mel, okay, and I'm an acrobat.
Okay.
I want to try and figure out what the feel of the city is, as far as like, what do the people think of who's in charge?
How do the people like the Silent King?
Mm-hmm. And anyone else of, political wealth or power.
Okay. You...
Can I make like an investigation check just to see what I kind of pick up?
Sure, roll, yeah. You can, roll me an investigation.
Not very high. Wow!
First roll and it's already...
Wait, look what he's wearing, though.
It's true.
Oh, man. All right. Yeah, you poke around, and you find yourself kind of in more of like a little bit more of like a rundown section of the city. It doesn't look quite as well-to-do as if the wealth of trade hasn't quite gotten to here.
Mhm.
And poking around, I mean, I assume you're probably asking some people some things along the way.
Yeah,
Or
I'm
like,
probably just asking questions like, what's the state of things here? You know, like who's in charge? I'm just trying to glean how they respond.
they tell you it's the king, and it's kind of weird that he has never spoken in his entire life. No one's heard his voice. It's cool that, merchants come and go, but like, it would be great if he could, help the little guy every once in a while. You can sense there's a little bit of dissent around here.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I would like to head towards, like, if there's like a palace district or wherever the king lives.
Yeah. So
I'd like to head in that
you
direction, and then just
okay?
kind
So
of set up as a street performer in the area, just to try and kind of get figure out kind of what's going on.
okay. So you can see the docks that stick up well above everything else, and then not as high as the docks. You can definitely see the palace.
Okay.
So that's the direction you would want to head.
Yep.
Okay, so you're gonna pass. You pass the houses. They look, a little run down, and as you get closer, they start looking a little nicer. Instead of being built more out of like mud, they start to become, more wattle and daub, and then even more so they become like a polished stone, similar to the materials of the palace. And there's a fountain and such. Think almost like the like St. Peter's Square at the Vatican.
Okay.
So yeah, this would be the perfect place to set up.
Absolutely. I'm going
All
to
right. So roll me a performance check.
I would like to use, while I'm performing, I would like to use minor illusion to create music around me that I'm able to dance to.
Go for it.
Because I can create a sound, and the somatic components, the hand gestures I have to do it, I'm going to blend them in to make them seem like part of the dance.
All right.
I don't know if that's gonna give any bonus, but that's going to. I just want to use that to create
Yeah,
the
you know what?
atmosphere.
I'll let you have advantage on that then.
Sweet. That's a 20. Dirty 20.
Jeez. Come on, man. So yeah.
I'm proficient in performance. One of my 1, one of my 7 skills I'm proficient in.
Bards, man.
Zero and bards, I tell you.
Alright, yeah, so you set up shop and you start dancing. Do you have like a hat or anything to throw down?
Yeah, I have like a little hat or something. It doesn't really matter.
So you're kind of busking?
Mm-hmm.
Alright. I mean, there are other street performers around.
Oh, sure. I'm not necessarily trying to steal any limelight. I'm just... It'll help me blend in. Because,
yeah.
Oh, it's just another street performer. And I'm going to just see if I can hear anyone talking about things or just kind of just get a sense of the atmosphere.
Yeah, make me a perception check.
Okay. 23. I don't have that good of bonuses to these. I don't know what's happening.
It's that roll for initiative shirt, man. I'm telling you.
What's the shirt?
So yeah, you can hear a lot of discussion. You're in the more well-to-do areas. These people probably, they're definitely more well-traveled. These are like, the merchanty types, businessmen.
Mm-hmm.
You hear about them talking about like an upcoming event, the All Skies rally that's going to be starting in Genesis.
So that's one of the other circles, right?
Yes, it's one of the. It's pretty far away from here.
Yeah. Okay.
And they talk about, and you can hear them talking about, oh well, how are you planning on getting there? And the guys, and some of them say, well, I'm gonna take a Skyjammer. And there's various ones. The Spiral Express is brought up. It's the most prominent one that you hear of. It's you've probably taken a Spiral Express before on your travels. But
what is the Spiral Express then?
The Spiral Express is a Skyjammer. It's a fairly large passenger ship / cargo.
So it's a specific ship, or is it like a?
It's like a service. There are many Spiral Expresses.
So it's like yellow cab taxis, but for the traveling through the spirals.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, more illustrious, but I'm meaning like as in like a franchise that's recognizable.
It's a recognizable travel franchise. It is kind of like franchised though. Like each ship has its own owners.
Sure, they just all kind of like almost like a merchant marine type thing. They kind of fly under unified. Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's better for brand recognition.
Yeah.
It's
unite together a little bit, pay a few dues, and then you all benefit from each other's reputation.
Yeah, it's like you've ever stayed in a Tavern 6.
I prefer super in Ott.
All right. So yeah. You're right there, Chuck.
That was way funnier than it had any right to be. I'm tired.
Yeah, I guess I will. I'll kind of keep that up for a little while in case I hear anything else, and then I'll head towards the palace, I guess. So you can jump to someone else for a bit if you need to.
All right, let's jump back to Panda. Have you decided what you're making?
Yeah, so I'm gonna make a great sword, and it's going to have a very kind of simple hand guard, and then it's just kind of flat, kind of, I guess, a little bit of a curve to the actual, I guess, hand guard. The handle is very simple, but the hand guard, and the hand guard itself is going to have kind of a spiraling, it's going to have like a serpent kind of wrapped around it from one end to the other, like design. And then the actual blade itself, it's going to be mostly kind of used more for like piercing or stabbing. So the blade itself is, while sharp, is going to have kind of two blades, so it kind of creates this like 4-blade thing, and it's going to spiral up into one point at the very tip.
That sounds very complicated.
Are you building the fierce deity sword?
No. That's like one thing. This is actually like spiraling up to a point. More like if you've seen the Fire Link sword from Dark Souls, I'll send an image, but it's like the Fire Link sword from Dark Souls. If for you watching at home, look up the Fire Link sword from Dark Souls. But that's the actual blade kind of pattern. It doesn't look specifically like that. It's still shiny metal.
Oh, cool.
Oh, it'll be kind of twisty.
Yep.
Okay.
So it twists up into one point. Yeah. So that's what I'm going for.
All right.
They actually make weapons like that, and they are illegal to use in combat because the wounds they leave do not heal.
Oh, that sounds yucky.
Daggers that are like that are a violation of the Geneva Convention.
All right.
Anyways.
So, make me a quick investigation check what this on the metal that he actually handed to you.
Oh, on the metal. Oh, hold on, I rolled that in the wrong place. Investigation. I'm bad at this. 13.
Okay. I was gonna say, for right now, because of your backstory, you do have advantage on investigation checks made to identify unknown metals.
Okay.
That's the thing you have right now.
That makes sense.
13 is what I.
All right.
rolled.
So it takes you a minute. You're not quite familiar with this particular version of steel, but it's not a difficult thing to make out. You know it's going to take a bit more heat and a bit more pounding out, but you have a look around the shop. And fortunately, there is lots of smithing equipment to be had. So you should be fairly confident you'll be able to work with it.
Cool. I will work with it.
All right. I don't really know how to do checks for forging.
I have smith's tools, but I don't exactly I've looked it up and it's really weird.
I
Yeah.
think a lot of the times you don't really roll checks because it's assumed that your person is like able to do this stuff. It just takes time for downtime purposes, you know.
But if you want to roll for it, it would be a d20 plus your proficiency modifier.
Okay. Well, let's do that then. You'll still be able to do it. It's just we'll see how much time it
Yeah.
takes you.
19.
I looked-
19.
So 21.
Okay, so with a 21, I mean, with the it's complicated, so it might take you a little bit. It takes you a couple hours to get the shape of everything.
That is fine by me. I'll
That's still
spend the
pretty
time.
impressive.
Yeah, I mean this metal takes very well to crafting. It's kind of a specialty here. And yeah, the smith guy is actually he's pretty darn impressed with what you've got so far. That's for getting it forged, but roll me another one for finishing it up.
Ooh, 9.
Oh. All right. So takes you probably it takes you the rest of the day to get it ground out and assembled, but the fact that you've made a fancy greatsword in a day, pretty darn impressive.
Cool.
Granted, there was lots of machinery. You had access to essentially a power hammer, so
Nice.
that takes a lot of the
Just
Oh.
to end the day, is there any more steel left over?
you can ask the smith.
I'll ask for any extra steel.
Yeah, he looks in this barrel and says, how much you want?
I just need roughly around 75 gold's worth. I don't know how much steel actually costs.
Well, this steel is this steel that you have is pretty expensive, but he takes you actually, if you want 75 gold worth of steel, I don't know if you can carry that much.
I don't need to carry it, I just need to place it down, basically, in front of me, or have it in front of me.
Well, I don't know if I can give you 75 gold worth of steel, but I've got this much, and it's probably about 50 gold worth.
Then I think I will create. I was gonna do chainmail, but I think that's 75 gold worth. I will spend an hour, place the 50 gold worth in front of me. I'll get down cross-legged in front of it, and then it will kind of start to. I'll close my eyes, hands kind of in the lap, and then it will kind of start to. And then just before I start, I'll say, "Give me an hour, and I'll create some armor with it." And I'm going to use my channel divinity with the gold to craft a set of studded leather armor to go with the sword. It says that as long as it includes some metal, and I have metal equal to the value of the creation, that it creates everything in it. So even if it has leather, it still creates it. So that's how I'll finish out the day with that.
All right. So the smith is getting ready to finish up for the day as you're finishing your ritual. He looks at it and he's like, "That's pretty impressive."
Thank you. I think I might have gotten a little carried away, but I like to do this.
You certainly got the have the mark of Jor on you, that's for sure. Why don't we take this to the king and show him what you've done?
I would be honored if I could do that.
You're gonna have to leave the sword in its sheath and leave all your weapons here. Can't be too careful.
Understandable.
So the one of the so as they walk, they walk you back, through the courtyard, past the buildings, into the same entranceway that you came in. And there's the one of the guards standing there, and he's got, it almost looks like a little coat check thing, but that's where visitors, weapons are kept. So they ask you to deposit, the weapons you're carrying, minus the sword and armor that you'll present.
Okay, yeah. So I will present. Present.
And so yeah, as you do that, you'll turn back to your left down to that hallway, and it opens up into a very bright room. The outside has been basically perpetually twilight the entire day. The sun is very dim in the sky and doesn't seem to ever really change position. But this room is very bright, so it takes a minute for your eyes to adjust. But you see that it's this great marble hall that's flanked by pillars on the way up to the throne. And there's a large table where 7 advisors sit. They're not all Leonin. Some are human, a couple elves, and 1 or 2 other Leonin. And so the guards take you up to present to the king.
Yeah, so I'll go up and I'll kind of kneel, and I'll present kind of the studded leather kind of folded, and the sword resting on top in its sheath. And then telepathically to the Silent King, I will say, thank you for allowing me to present this to you. I wish to learn more about this craft and what I may do to increase my skill and understanding. I ask that I may learn this from you or your people.
You don't actually hear in your head the Silent King, but out loud you hear the voice of the elf advisor that's closest to you, and he answers for the king. And he says,
so he heard me telepathically.
Make me an insight check.
Ooh, that's something I'm good at. 24.
Okay.
Good grief.
From what you can surmise through the king's nods, and he normally, it's like he's listening. So the king heard you. But it's almost like he relayed your message to his advisor, and his advisor spoke for him. He's called the Silent King. Nobody hears his voice, even in their mind, except for his advisors.
Worth a shot.
So yeah, the advisors basically tell you, he says, from what you've done here, I don't know if we actually can teach you that much. But up in Genesis, there is a great forge on the sphere of Ruptus. I do have friends there. You might be able to learn from them.
What should I tell them?
The king gestures to his advisor, and he hands you, and the advisor walks away for a minute, and he goes to a cabinet and pulls from the cabinet a rolled up scroll with a seal. You'll go to the forge and hand this to them, still sealed, and then you'll know what to do.
Thank you. I very appreciate it. And that will be where I finish my business there and take my leave. Leaving, of course, the armor and sword.
There's a one of the humans stands up and, as you're leaving, kind of calls after you. He says, "Thank you, by the way."
I'm just gonna do one of those, like, as I'm leaving, like, just kind of like a.
The smith kind of gives you a pat on the back. He says, "You know, we get a lot of people around here thinking they can work with metal, but I think you got it."
Thank you. I really owe it all to the man who helped me learn it.
Yeah, who taught you?
His name was Chakal. He didn't want to teach me at first, but he did, and I'm very grateful for that.
Jakal, you say?
Yes.
You know, we used to have a guy around here who's by that name.
Really? I guess I never really asked where he was from, so it's possible.
Yeah, he wasn't much of the given type, but talk to him a while, you work your way in. He'd give you the shirt off his back.
It's basically what I did to get taught.
Alright. Go to that forge, kid. You're gonna do great.
I'll go and retrieve my weapon and shield and make my way towards, I'm assuming, I would kind of have an idea that there could be a ship that would be heading to Genesis.
Yeah, there's if you make your way towards the docks, it's not really a secret. There's like a schedule board of everything that's heading in and out. So you'd be able to find something pretty easily.
Yep, I'll look for one of the Skyjammers going to Genesis and make my way over to that.
Okay. Let's go back to Mr. Forgotten Link. I did not forget about you.
Yeah, like, what's up?
All right. So you said you're on your way to the library.
Yeah, and did I pass by any like street performers?
You might have.
Because if I did, then the library's like my name, forgotten.
Oh man. You oh god. All right. I need you to roll. You could roll a survival check for finding your way in the city, right?
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, roll me one.
It's wisdom based. It could work for Streetwise.
That was a 7, you got lost.
There were too many things to look at, so you weren't looking at the map.
So, you find yourself in a very shiny place. It's the walls are all polished. There's street lamps that are casting glimmering light off of them. Lots of flickering lights to distract the eye. And there are several street performers. One's dressed up like a harlequin. One's basically doing a tap dance. You see a couple of lute players. And you see one doing some kind of dance. And music is playing, but you don't know where it's coming from.
And let's see. Zero rolled a 20 on performance?
I think I got
20.
a dirty 20 on the performance. Yeah.
He got a shirt and tie Bowie on performance.
So, I mean, that feels like that's who I would go towards. Whoever is the biggest or the most unique.
Okay.
People play instruments. I think I play instruments. Nope, I took painter's tools.
I should specify that Josephine is a half elf. And,
A half elf. Okay.
Yeah, and she is probably doing some sort of like belly dance type performance. You know, one that can easily, you know, you don't have to have a partner. You can just dance and appeal to a large crowd. So it probably seems a little bit exotic because the music to go along with that is probably not super common, popular music, you know.
Yep. You can add... Oh, let me roll a thing. You can add 4 total gold to your inventory, Zero,
Ooh.
because
I made some money.
you've made that equivalent from people tossing it into your busking container.
Got it. I'll take it.
Okay.
4 gold.
So, yeah.
I'm just gonna sit down and watch.
I see a cat come up and
Yeah,
sit down.
just a little bit better now that I have my character sheet open.
Ah, okay.
So I am a a black-furred tabaxi with a white mohawk that's slicked back, and then probably the most noticeable feature besides my translucent blue arm is I have 1 blue eye and 1 green eye.
Zero. Roll me another perception check.
Yes. 21.
Jeez. Okay. So yeah, So as you're dancing, and this tabaxi comes and sits down in front of you, you actually hear another voice that seems to be coming from the tabaxi, but you can't quite make out where it's coming from.
Okay.
So yeah, and Link, your arm is going to speak to you.
Okay.
Also, do I see the very obviously arcane construct arm, or is it like disguised or hidden?
Oh no, that's born proudly. I don't
Okay.
hide them.
So I can barely see that he has some sort of arcane ethereal arm. Or right arm.
Oh yeah, it's apparently
Yeah.
not hidden.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, your arm, it's a little bit sounds slightly irritated. It says, "Where have you taken us? I thought we were going to the library."
I love the voice of your arm.
Like, I don't know. Library was one way, and this is cool. We don't get to see this often.
We don't get to see much very often. We haven't even been out of the monastery for like 2 days.
Yeah, like, library's gonna be there. Let's just watch the show.
What were you even hoping to find there?
I want to know about you.
About me? I don't even know about me. I was minding my own business. And then suddenly I'm an arm.
Yeah, and like, where's my arm?
It's probably floating out in the void. The place where they send nutty children who don't know how to behave and pay attention.
Some kid is just gonna see my arm floating by?
I don't know where it is.
That's what I want to find out.
Well, then get to the library.
But, you know you're not my dad, right? Are you?
I can't rule that out, but I don't think so.
Do I just see him apparently talking to himself this whole time?
No, you can hear the arm too, but you just don't know
I don't understand
where the voice
it's
comes
coming
from.
Yeah, okay.
The arm doesn't have an obvious mouth to speak.
Yeah.
But roll me another perception check.
23. I have not rolled lower than a 20 yet.
Okay. Shirts, guys, shirts. I'm telling you,
Is
we get enough people interested.
This is rolling properly, right?
Yeah, roll one more just to.
1d20 plus 2. Yeah.
It has to be because you're getting
Yeah,
your
like
other
yeah,
ones
the other one's a
are-
6.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just getting lucky that the first one was the high one.
So you do notice that whenever you hear the French sounding voice, it's not actually French, but it's to make it distinguished. The you see the arm kind of like ripple a little bit up and down.
Curiouser and curiouser, said Alice. Yeah, okay. I am going to stop dancing.
Okay.
And I'm gonna I wanna follow him, so I'm just going to kinda like start collecting, like slowly like collecting the money and like counting it, kind of step away a little bit in case someone else wants to set up in that area and like be counting it, but I'm going to keep my eye on him.
Okay.
As soon as the show is over, I'm getting up and starting to try and figure out my way back to the path.
Cool. Is there a spot nearby where I could step in and not be seen?
So yeah, it's twilight, and then there are lamps that are casting shadow, but there's pillars and things that have, shade behind them that people aren't walking in. So roll me a stealth.
Yeah, I would like to duck behind a pillar and stealth 18. And
that'll do it.
I am going to use my action to change my appearance.
Okay.
And I will turn into a... which one do I want to use here? I'm going to turn into a female human wearing like a servant's, and I'm going to use a bonus action to change my clothes to look like servant's garb. Very, very fine, like wealthy servant kind of thing, like to a very wealthy person, but still clearly not someone that is like wealthy on their own.
All right.
And then I will duck back out from behind the pillar, and I will follow Forgotten Link.
All right.
You can call me Link. Although you don't know that.
I don't know that. I don't know your name either. I'm going to follow the black cat.
All right. Link, roll me another survival check, please.
Okay.
All right. You, looking at the map...
Oh, 21.
And looking at the dots, you are able to put together how to get yourself back onto the... because there was the dot for the shipyard, which you can see from anywhere in the city. And going by that, you find your way back to the path that's marked out, and you make your way to the library pretty quickly.
There, we're at the library, okay?
Fine, that's where you said you wanted to go. I'm just trying to help you get there.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
You are a silly kitty, I hope you know that.
You know, I don't like it when you call me kitty.
That's why I do it. Alright, so yeah, you find, yeah, you're in front of the library. I mean, it's open. You can go in. It's very tall. Well, not tall. It's a large square building. It has pillars out in front, steps leading up to it. There's there's a large book statue of a book in front of it to denote, what it is. It is a library. It appears to be well lit on the inside. Great glass doors at the top of the stairs.
Ooh. Yeah, I'm gonna walk up and I'm gonna walk in.
There's as you enter, there is a half-elf, female half-elf. She's wearing, librarian-looking clothes. They're gray and gold, and she has a brooch, and she greets you and says, "Welcome to our library. How may I help you?"
Yeah, you got any books on the rings?
Oh, you would like to read about the founding of the worlds.
That's a little far back, I think.
Okay.
More like, what happens when you touch one?
I can take you to the reference section.
Cool.
And she takes you there. And she is looking at the shelf, trying to decipher by the little numbers on the sides. And off the top shelf, she pulls this dusty gray tome that looks like it hasn't been touched in a few years. And she says, "This should give you what? This is a book on the research of the rings. No one really knows how it works, but if anything could help you, it would be in here."
So, can I take this, or do I have to leave it here?
There is a table you may sit down and read. Do you have a card?
I mean, ooh, let me see this, because I am I took the cloistered scholar background.
Okay.
I have free and easy access to the majority of the library, though it might also have repositories of lore that are too valuable.
Okay, so there's a general monastery library card that I'm gonna say you have.
Okay, so I'm gonna say, well, yeah, I got this card for being part of the Silence clan.
Oh, yes. Well, then you can take it with you. They're well known for returning books on time.
Yeah, when do you want this back?
You may borrow it for a week to return it.
Ooh. Thanks.
Oh, thank you for your interest in books. We're trying to spread the love of reading. Somehow it's just falling by the wayside.
You got pamphlets I could give out?
You want to advertise for the library?
Yeah.
No one ever wants to do that. She's very, very excited. And she walks you up to the front desk and just hands you like a stack of pamphlets up to your chin. So you've got your arms out holding this book, and now you've got pamphlets like wedged under your chin. Hand out as many of these as you like across all the spheres.
Got like a satchel or like a bag of holding for these?
Oh, right. You will probably need that. And she
Yeah.
gets like it almost looks like an NPR tote bag, but with like the symbol for the library. And she puts the pamphlets in and hands them to you.
All right, I put it around my shoulders so I have a messenger bag now. Do I get a slouchy beanie? Because I feel like I need a slouchy beanie at this point.
I'm sure there's a store that will sell you one.
I'm going to try and find a slouchy beanie at some point. I'm just letting you all know that.
Maybe the cleric could forge you one out of chain mail.
Oh my god, a chain beanie.
I didn't realize I needed this in my life, and now I do.
Hey, you bring me the medal, and we'll see what happens.
I have a whopping 0 gold. So...
You don't have any gold? I thought you had a little bit.
Oh, no, I have 21. Oh, I'm rich.
There you go.
Yeah, 21. Rich.
So, Starlight, what are you doing in all this?
So are you leaving the library now with that book and the pamphlets?
I'm gonna go sit out on the steps and just start reading the book.
Okay. As he's exiting the library, I'm imagining you're like stuffing the pamphlets into the bag as you're walking out the door. I wanna bump into him meet cute style so the pamphlets go everywhere.
Okay.
Oh,
I don't know if you want me to roll for that, since I'm essentially intentionally trying to bump into him without making it seem
Sure.
intentional.
Roll a dex, I think. Just straight up dex.
Could I use acrobatics, perhaps? If not, that's fine.
Yeah, do acrobatics, fine. I want you to have all your fun powers and proficiencies.
do I get a dex saving throw?
I got a 14.
Well, let's see. Roll me a perception first.
Okay, that's fair.
Okay, your saving throw will be made with disadvantage.
All right.
Hey!
It's still wow.
I'm a monk.
So
he manages to dodge or keep his footing.
yeah, you definitely bump into him, but he does not drop his pamphlets. But he almost did, but he ninja'd them all back into the bag.
Whoa, lady! Like,
Oh, I am so sorry. I'll do like a very like respectful bow. This character moves. Think the collector's assistant from Guardians of the Galaxy. Like that's the way she walks around and moves and stuff. Very like stiff, and because they're trying to keep up an appearance because you work for somebody. I was intending to be able to help pick up the pamphlets, so this does not work as well for what I was trying to do.
Well, you see the arm ripple, and you hear, "Watch yourself. Do you not see where you're going? We're trying to read here."
Did your arm just talk?
yeah, it does that sometimes.
Oh my, this is fascinating. I have never seen such a thing.
You've never seen such a thing? Because if you have, that'd be nice.
No, I don't know. My lady perhaps would know. She is very wise, but I have never seen such a thing.
Oh, could you introduce us?
Perhaps. But
Cool.
she does not meet with anyone freely.
Like, she needs money?
She, she is a lady of nobility, sir.
Yeah,
No one can just walk in and meet with her. You must. There's appointments. There's ceremony that is required. But she does have interest in items of the arcane. Perhaps I could convince her.
Well, if she is so interested, maybe she wants to see us, huh?
That may be true.
So perhaps she would be willing to pay for us to see her.
I don't know if that would be the way. It's not just it's not a need for payment as so much as it is a gesture, a sort of a token, you know.
Well, like, make an appointment. We'll be here reading.
Do I perhaps have like an inn I've been staying in under the ruse of the Duchess?
Yeah, there's a more upscale one. You certainly haven't been staying in a Tavern 6.
Yeah. Oh no, of course not. What's the point of having forged letters of nobility if I'm not going to use them to stay in an upscale establishment?
Yeah.
Every time.
What?
It's funny every time, and it shouldn't be.
Oh, the Tavern 6.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, I will give him the address of the tavern. And
Okay.
I'll say this is where she is staying before she leaves the city. And then I'll go into the library as if I was on like an errand.
All right.
Is there another entrance or exit to the library?
There's
Actually, no, it's fine. No. I'll just nod to the librarian. I'll go back between some bookshelves where there isn't anybody else, and I'll change my appearance again.
Okay, yeah. I'll just let you do that.
Yeah. I'm gonna
hidden.
turn into a half orc, male half orc, and I will then exit the library.
All right.
And I'm gonna follow him again.
Are you just hanging out? Is that what you said you were going to do, read?
If he's just gonna sit on the stairs and read, then I will use minor illusion to make it look like I'm also holding a book and reading it.
Okay.
And
is minor illusion a cantrip?
It is a cantrip, yes.
Oh, okay.
I can do either a sound or a visual thing. I cannot do both at the same time with it. That's why it allows it to be a cantrip. You can do like one or the other. And it's pretty limited.
Okay.
So,
roll me an investigation, I believe is what we use for reading, correct? Mr. Link.
That's a 10.
All right, that is a 10. I mean, it's not difficult to find. She gave you the exact book that you would need. So yeah, what you find out about these rings is that they extend down to the cores of the spheres. And from what people who have studied them have surmised is that given that the size of each of the different spheres is that Fulgor, the which is on the border of Genesis and Light, is by far the largest, and it was probably the original one. And when it hit Fulgor's core, it melted down and flowed out through the rings. And the rings themselves basically being bridges between crystal spheres. So everything is connected, but also quite far away from themselves in actual terms of space. And lots of people wanted to figure out if they could touch the rings. So there are accounts written down of people like throwing things at them, and everything that's been either touched to the ring or the border has been very cleanly cut in half. No one has ever really gone out of their way to touch it. But yeah, so it also puts into the account an account of people of the sigils that they put to mark the edges of them, so no one accidentally runs into them. But there is no mention in there about things taking off limbs and giving you magical ones.
Huh. Sounds like the biggest ring is at Genesis.
Well, the rings themselves are all the same size, but the largest planet, or the largest sphere of rock, is up near Genesis.
Okay. Might be more research there.
I mean, buddy, I'm just along for the ride. I can't really do anything but talk to you. So,
Let's not pretend that you don't have opinions.
Oh, I'm very opinionated.
Yeah.
But,
so, hang around here? Or try and hop on a ship?
Yeah, let's go. We must
Cool.
blow this stand.
I don't want to blow anything up.
I mean, you need to go to Genesis. Because this is the world we live in. And these are the hands we're given.
He was literally given that hand.
Yeah. So use them, and let's start trying to make it a place worth living in.
Okay. Speaking of which, that should be your first dramatic Redeer reading.
Land of Confusion. That would be a good one.
That's a good one.
I'll add that one to the list.
Okay.
All right. And I'm going to start making my way towards the Spelljammer port. Skyjammer port. I missed.
I'm going to follow him and be very upset to myself when I realize he's not heading towards the tavern.
All right. So you guys are all heading on to the heading to the Skyjammer port then?
Yep.
I'm curious about his magic arm and how I can make money off of it somehow because it's unique. That's enough to keep me following for now.
Okay.
That, and I just don't know enough about this area to want to risk doing any big plays.
So, yeah, I'm just going to tell this to each of you since you're all going to be at the same place. You're probably going to be there at roughly the same time because you are. But there is a schedule on the board, and leaving within the next hour or so is the Spiral Express, and you see that it goes from Sinis to Mana. And Mana is the Mana Quarter of Genesis, which is the sphere of life and generation, Genesis. So there is a ticket window, and at the ticket window is a very tall blue individual with kind of a flattened nose and no ears.
Tau.
They're a Vidalcan, but yes. So who's going up to the window first? Or are you going to the window? I should ask.
I'm assuming I'm going to be later just because I spent the entire day doing that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's...
So
I'm gonna find a sneaky spot to change back into the servant again.
Okay. Yeah, this one is a red eye, so it'll take you. It'll be leaving fairly late in the day.
Actually, wait, no. I'm gonna turn into the Duchess. I'm gonna do the Duchess. So yeah, I will find a sneaky spot to transform where no one will see me. Do I need to roll stealth again for that? Or?
Yeah, this is a bit more of a populated area. There is like a restroom area, but depending on how loud your transformations are.
I don't think they really make any noise.
Okay.
Apart from just the shift of like clothing and stuff that would happen.
Well, that's pretty normal for what you'd hear. Okay.
But I'll roll. I got a 6 for stealth.
Mm,
But I will. I mean, I'll go into the bathroom, so it's at least somewhat secluded.
Someone asks, "Are you okay in there, buddy?"
They saw me go in as the half orc, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just gonna be.
Like,
don't worry about it a bit, brother. I'm doing fine.
Okay then. You hear like the rushing of water as like a bucket is poured down and washes another thing away. It's like one of those squat toilet places.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna use prestidigitation to make the sound of a crash from outside the bathroom if I can.
Okay, yeah.
Just to maybe distract some attention. I'm gonna wait till there's no one that would see, and definitely wait for that guy to have left, so that he doesn't see.
He does his business. I mean, there are doors. People have privacy.
There's
but the guy leaves, and
then I'll change, and then I'll exit.
Okay.
As the Duchess.
All right.
A slender and attractive full elf. Wearing a very elegant, like, you can still tell they're supposed to be travel clothes, but very elegant and fine made, with a lot of deep blues.
Okay.
In them, and like gold.
True.
Yeah.
Kind of similar fashion level as like Rose's walking dress at the beginning of Titanic.
Yeah, sure, yep. So
Okay.
A little bit more designed to be, traveled around in and stuff, as opposed to be super formal, but clearly, someone that can afford it,
Okay.
Yeah. And very moves in a very sort of like almost glides in the way she moves around.
Ooh, very fancy.
And we'll get in line for the ticket booth.
Okay.
Actually, is there a VIP line?
There is a separate window for those intending to purchase first class accommodations, or business class at least.
Yeah, we're gonna go to that window.
Okay.
I'm gonna get in line and end up behind the Duchess.
You're gonna go to the business class line?
On accident.
I love it.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So you you walk up to the ticket window, and he says, and there's the schedule board on your left.
Let's see. She'll walk up and I require tickets and accommodations for me and my handmaiden to. You said it was to Mana, right?
Well, you could just say to the Genesis City.
To the Genesis.
And there's a second, also very tall blue person of Vidalcan who says, "Well, the last ship to be leaving was one of the Spiral Express, and assuming if you're in this line, you would like a business level accommodations."
Wait,
You
what?
are in...
Of course.
Well, that will be for you and for your assistant. That will be 10 gold apiece.
Okay, so now here's where I get to try a little bit of something. Excuse me, do you know who I am?
I haven't the slightest.
I am Alara Swiftwind, Duchess of Elsterwith.
Bless you.
I suggest you accommodate me with cheaper travel. I'm going to cast suggestion.
So I'm gonna roll I can roll an actual die now.
Yeah,
Ooh,
you
this is
can.
fun. So tactile. So yeah, the Vidalcan says, "Well, I didn't realize you were nobility. It would be our honor to send you to Genesis. You need only pay for your assistant."
That seems far more reasonable. Yeah, I'll pay 10 gold for assistant. Because I'm technically only one person, so I'm still paying for myself anyways, but...
Well, you paying for has basically what you should be paying.
Yeah, at least I'm not having to pay for double in order to keep up the ruse. Yeah.
You had to use suggestion to pay full price. I love it.
That's amazing. I guess I wasn't even thinking about that. Yeah, yeah, I'll pay 10 gold for
Okay.
those accommodations. Half of that got paid for just from my quick dance earlier today, so
That's true. Then yeah, so the Vidalcan in the nice like conductor vest looks at or I'm sure you've gotten your ticket and walked off by now.
Yes, I'll take the tickets, yeah, and walk away.
And they look up at you, Link, up and down, just a little bit. Roll me an insight, just to see what you notice about their expression.
All right.
Yeah, you think everything's fine and dandy. It's a 7.
I got a 7.
You don't notice the slight like curl of the guy's lip as he's like, "Oh, you clearly can't afford this." You don't notice that, but he says, "And how may I help you?"
Yeah, cheapest room you got, please.
Oh, the cheapest room I have will be 10 gold, but if you would like cheaper, I suggest you stand over in that line.
There you go.
They're a little taken aback. Well,
Isn't that like half your money?
Yep. That's the cheapest room he has. He said he had the cheapest he has.
Oh, I love your character.
so yeah, you have a first class ticket now.
And no idea that I do.
That was like half our money. Your arm says to you.
Yeah. And?
I don't know where I'm going with this, but that seemed like a lot.
I don't know. I haven't been on one of these things before. Have you?
I don't think I've been anywhere before. I met you. Yeah, that's all your arm is saying.
And I said to the arm, can you see?
I mean, well, hold on a second. And you need to close your eye that's not the same color as the arm.
Oh, okay, I cover the green eye.
Oh, I can see a little bit. Look around.
And I do.
And, I don't know what we're looking for, though. But,
I just wanted to know if he could, how, I didn't know how that worked. That's impressive.
Huh, I didn't know either.
Cool.
We're learning lots about each other.
Yeah.
Soon we are going to be a buddy-buddy.
You'll be my right-hand man.
I see what you did there.
Hey.
Okay. All right. So yeah.
I'll walk up to the economy. Normal.
You're a noble.
You have more gold than any of them.
Of the three of us, you're the one that would actually be most suited to be in first class.
I'm walking up to the economy.
All right. You're there's a line about 10 people deep.
That's fine. I'll wait for it.
All right. It moves. I mean, it moves fairly quickly. There are many ships leaving, and the line kind of starts filling in behind you. You get up there, and the other, the economy of Vidalcan just looks at you and says, "So where are you headed?"
I'm going to Genesis. Believe the sign said Mana.
Oh yes. Well, then you will need to be on the Red Eye, the Spiral Express. That's going to be 1 Electrum.
And I'll give him 1.
That is significantly cheaper.
So that's half a gold.
It's
right?
half a gold, yeah.
That's like airline pricing, man.
Yeah.
And
Tell
plus, I've always wanted to use Electrum in a game.
It's a good opportunity to do so. Because it's still
Okay.
expensive for your average layman, but far more affordable than trying to go first class, business class.
I mean, you're going across the universe.
Mm-hmm. Actually, given that, that's really 10 gold is really affordable.
I mean, it's like a day and a half's journey.
Yeah, but when
Like
when you think about how all the magic going into you actually being able to travel the kind of distance that you're going to be traveling.
Yeah, that's true. I mean,
Not that they're having to pay to create.
it's the Spiral Express. It's the economy of scale.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So yeah, you know the schedule and you know what time to get on the ship.
Yep. I'll get on the ship when it's time. And yep.
I will take my belongings to. Do I have like a private cabin, or is it just that seats like an airplane?
So it's like you have, it's like being on a train. You have like a full-on
Like a
sleeper
little
suite.
Sleeper booth. Okay, cool, perfect. I'll take my luggage to that. I have a bright pink roller suitcase.
Like, it's. I mean, everyone who's in economy kind of has like bunk cabins
Okay.
because it's overnight.
Yeah,
So,
it's a long enough trip. Yeah.
but yeah, you have your private accommodation.
Yep.
All right. And with that, I think we will leave it for the next one.